All right, it's Daniel Murphy. We have this uprooted oak tree today, and with the new green coming in, it's April now. All these trees just leafed out. It's really tough to see what's going on up there, but it's hung up in this guy right here, this big oak tree here. These are all woods grown trees, so that tree may not be that big in diameter, whatever that is, 28 inches, maybe 30, maybe less. But anyhow, it's 100 feet tall for sure. And the concern on a tree like that is that it's going to hang up in the other tree next to it. So my concern on this tree is I don't want it to hang up in the tree next to it. And it may do that no matter what we do, but we're going to try to cut this tree with every chance we can have of not having to put a climber up there. We're pretty far off the beaten track. Getting a crane back here, a climber, would just be nightmarish. So my idea is, as always, is I'm going to try to put this tree in the ground from the ground. And so couple of things. You know, there's been so many, we're at a stage with YouTube looking at tree videos where everybody and their grandma is putting out tree videos now. It's getting boring. We're not seeing anything new. I'm trying to, you know, make videos now that have not only value, as always, some value, have a little teaching, a little education, as well as a little bit of, you know, entertainment value. But I'm trying to focus a little bit more on that now. So hopefully you learned something here today. I don't think anybody else has ever really said this or published what I'm about to tell you here. You know, in maybe 15 years ago, I put the first video out about how to make that vertical snap cut to get these leaners, the hung trees, to just start dropping straight down. We don't want that to happen here because we don't want it to get too straight. We actually want the butt to come back if we can, so that it rolls off the other tree. If it gets straight, number one, it could hang up in the other tree. But number two, if it gets too straight, it could come back off the tree, and there's another house over here. Yeah, we got to protect that house. Other than that, we're just trying to get her on the ground. So if you're cutting a hung tree, it's hung like this, and you make vertical cuts, you're allowing that piece just to slide off there and come straight down. That's the way it wants to come with gravity. After a certain angle, there's going to be pressure on the top and tension on the bottom, right? But people wonder, like, well, wait a second. I got a steep angled hanger like this. Why am I not finding any tension wood on here? What happens is, if you think about it like this, you have a column of wood that's just standing straight up, perpendicular to the ground. Every part of that, if you make a cut through there, a horizontal cut through, every part on that cut is going to be under compression. That whole weight of that tree is coming down on top of that circular cut that you're going to make, right? So now you start tilting it. Well, at very slight angles, you're still going to have compression throughout the entire range of that circumference and the area of that cut. So only after you get past a certain angle, and I never actually figured out exactly what it was, but it's not 45 for sure. It's probably, whatever, 30 degrees, something like that, 30 degrees, I'm just guessing. Before you're going to get any tension wood, everything, otherwise it's all going to be under compression. So, and with a big heavy tree like this, that's a lot of weight compressing down. The tree is so much bigger and heavier than it looks up there. So we don't want it to get straight. The other reason, because it's going to make making those cuts harder. We have a skid loader here, and I'm about to go up here and throw a sling on here that'll allow us to get at least 2-to-1, but we might have to go with 3-to-1 or 4-to-1 mechanical advantage. So we're going to finesse it with the cut. We're going to try to make that cut so that we're giving the tree a path to slide sideways. It will, if we give it enough force, it will come straight back off the stump at you like that. And I don't want that. I mean, I can make that happen here if I had to, but if I don't have to, I don't want to. And this is a point for these guys that go ahead and they're using the GRCS and they're standing up a big limb, they're getting it straight, and then they got to go back in there and finish that cut off because they made a nice wide mouth on that notch, and then it didn't close, so they got to go cut it after everything's rattling around up above them with who knows what's going to break off and get them when they get back under there. Guys like that, man, pay attention here. If you make an angled cut on the like to the side, when that piece gets straight, you and make the mouth not quite so open, you make a slighter angle and you angle it like that, the mouth closes and the piece is going to want to slide sideways. just a much safer situation. So that's what we're going to try to do here. I'm going to try to make this first cut fairly low here, kind of a test cut to see how the tree responds. We're going to try to make a higher cut and try to get a drop, 6, 8, 10 feet. But let's get this first cut made now. I'm going to put my sling up there to start with. This is whatever this is, like 9/16 or 5/8. Pretty heavy duty rope. My buddy gave it to me, and it's got a splice tie on this end. So I think he gave me like a 600-foot reel spool of it. I'm going to use this. I'm going to use a clove hitch on there to secure the tree fairly high so that we can get it to drop down 1 or 2 or 3 cuts without having to go retie it. So let me go up there and just see how easy this is. I don't have a saddle or a hard hat on, but it should be fairly quick and easy. Hopefully it works out pretty smoothly. So it's a directional knot. So the bite is coming down here, not on top of the final wrap there. I don't think I have enough to get around the rest of it. So I'll do a couple half hitches, and that should bite pretty well. I'm pretty happy with that. I have this other little tree here to show you what I'm talking about, this demonstration. Normally when I have a hung tree like this, and I'm just trying to get her down, I'm gonna make that cut vertical. So this piece just drops off here. In this case, and in another case, what's going to happen as you make those kind of cuts, though, the piece will get straighter and straighter and straighter and straighter until it's all going to be under compression. You won't have any tension with it at all. So I'm just using this as a demonstration. We actually have a rope in this thing. We can pull it off here, I think, pretty easily. But what we're going to do here is we're going to angle it so that instead of making the cut straight up and down, we're going to angle it so it's kind of sideways. So the butt comes off to the side. So let's just see what that looks like. I hope you got an idea of what we're doing here. Let's take a look at the cut. Again, instead of coming straight up and down like this, we got to give it a place to go. We want it to go sideways. So and you have to overlap your cuts too. This bottom cut has always got to be, you can't be hung up like this. So you'll leave a lip that the piece won't slide off here. And then in the situation of big tree, we're going to make those bypass cuts and then just yank on it and because there's so much more force on that tree than a small tree like this, kind of compressing that trunk together. We're going to use the force of the skid loader to break that out of there. And we like I said, we're going to start with 2 to 1. 2 to 1 doesn't work, we'll go to 4 to 1. All right, so we got the skid loader hooked up with a 2 to 1 on our sling up there. And I'm going to try this first one kind of low to the ground. See how she slides, see how she moves. But again, we want the butt to come off this way. We're giving her a place to go. It wouldn't be bad for it to come straight back, but it's going to be a lot easier to get it to go sideways. Got a wedge and a hammer here, so I don't like using them, but let's see what happens. kinds of funny tension and compression going on there. We're trying not to pinch the bar is really what we're trying to do here. If we cut that a little deeper, probably wouldn't hurt. Oh boy. I think that bar is probably whooped. You know, I had the thought, you gotta listen to those little thoughts in your head. Stop cutting here and we'll use the machine to pull it out with. Should have done it. All right, we're gonna get another saw out. There's a first for you. First time I buried a saw like that. I've bent some bars in my time, but that's the first one I buried the saw on. We're gonna do the same thing and just hope it doesn't get the saw on this one. But it's getting straighter, which we don't want it to do. So we're all bypassed here. All our cuts are past each other. It's definitely gonna go our way. I'm gonna get in that load. All right, guess I didn't have to. All right, so the dogs got bent up and the bar's bent, but it looks like the body of the saw and all the functions here are fine. So that was kind of a boneheaded move on my part, but I'm showing it. Now I'm a little concerned that we're getting way too straight and I'm gonna have to pull it straight back off here. So I'm gonna make the cut angled more this way and see how that goes. We just moved the rope up higher so it doesn't dig in the ground. Again, I probably should have used the rope instead of letting gravity do its thing on those first two. But let's see how this one goes. that back cut's starting to open up quite a bit, which is what the first one did just before it let go. So I'm gonna give this guy a little yank, see what happens. Starting to pop?
Yep.
All right, well, we get there first. Well, let's take a look where that hole is versus the last hole. See if we're getting straighter or not. So we're just about maybe 6 inches this way, coming back from where we were on the last one, which I'll take. And we'll just keep dropping it. Now look, if this thing hangs up there, at least we got it 20 feet shorter or whatever it's gonna be, 15, 20, could even be 30 feet shorter. So we gotta get a climber up there. It's gonna be a lot easier for him to reach. But I think we'll make one more cut just like that and see how she looks. You know, she could always bind up there. I was thinking of making larger cuts, you know, have it instead of dropping 5, 6 feet, have it drop 8, 10, 12 feet. But no chance. It's just not worth the trouble of trying to make that cut at height. And with this tree's doing funny things, no chance in the world. Just gonna keep cutting like that. If it jams up there, it does. Hopefully it has enough weight to pull itself out if there's just a little bit hung up there. Sometimes when they hang up there's nothing you can do. You got to go get them. All right, one more time. We're gonna cut it, angle it mostly back, maybe even try to come back a little bit with this way. Take another 5 feet off of there. Now we got this thing moving the right direction. You can see where it is. It came back from the last one. We might only have another cut or two to make, and then she's going to drop. I'll be lying to you if I tell you I wasn't a little nervous on that last one. We don't know what's going on up there. We can't see because all the trees, the green leaves are in the way from the other smaller trees. Anything could have gotten loose up there, could be out there, you know, ready to flip back onto my head. So I'm just trying to get out of there, which I'm glad I did. The pull line is working. I should have used it on that first cut, so it's a lesson learned. But right now, if it keeps traveling to the left there, we got that little maple in the way. I mean, I can't hurt it. It's just another small tree in the woods. I'm trying not to, though, if I don't have to. When we moved the two pieces of the last two cuts out with the skid loader, we accidentally bumped this thing and it looked pretty loose. So it feels like it's ready to go, but not quite yet. Probably one more cut, maybe two at the most. And then, like I said, this one I'm going to try to get it to come this way. We'll see how that goes. And then hopefully she'll just fall right out of there. But she's not getting any straighter, which is crucial right now, because we want it to lean, and we want it to go between the two trees there. Back cut's starting to open up a little bit, that top cut, so we're going to pull it. Are we wrapped around something?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I see it. It's still going to come down, though. It'll still keep sliding down, and hopefully that'll break off. But yeah, that sucks. Okay, so basically, you can see what's going on up here. That left lead up there, I'm looking into the sun. It's tough for me to tell. Can you see that that's wrapped around behind the main stem of this big tree? Anyhow, so that means we got a little more cutting to do, or maybe a lot more cutting to do. But at least she's coming down, and you know, she's not walking forward, getting straighter. She's not doing that, which is exactly what we want, which is actually what that pole line's for. And these snap cuts allow me to much more controlled situation where I'm not underneath anywhere close to this thing. No one's anywhere near the bottom of this tree when the stuff starts moving up there, and who knows what's going on. It's just tough to tell. So we'll keep yanking on it and cutting it and see what happens here. All right, we've been pre-tensioning this rope with the loader every time before every cut. And I can just pull on this and see where we are with it. That's good. All right, so we pinched the bar here, and I guess I was used to just, maybe we put too much pre-tension on it, on that rope. I'm really not sure, but I'm concerned when this piece that comes down one more cut, this thing doesn't hit my shoulder or something, because I'm going to be reaching right over there.
You want me to bring the loader forward?
Nah, I think we're going to cut it. We'll leave it as is for now. Well, that's what I was talking about. I was standing back a little bit. That didn't take much, did it? Ooh, baby. Let's see what's going on with this bar. All right, hopefully no damage done there. This line is super, super tight. So she wants to straighten out and she's riding on that tree, but we're not gonna let it. We got the butt cut here. We got 5 more cut loose pieces. Think about that size laying around the ground here. So I'm guessing that's 35, maybe even more feet off this guy. Got that one piece of the top that's kind of hooked around behind the tree. Otherwise it would have just fallen by now, but this doesn't bother me at all. It's coming down pretty quick and smooth. I'm not underneath anything up there. I can see what's going on now. So I'm feeling pretty good about it. Let's make one more cut here. down, baby. Woo. Take a look at it. Slid right down that trunk. This guy, I thought that we were gonna have to sacrifice this. I thought that maybe we'll get all beat up. And see what you took down over here. Looks like a branch off a cherry. That must be this guy here. And whew, she's down, baby. That's the most important thing. These bushes look like they made out okay. And a couple loose pieces fell over there. We got to go get the loader and clean it all up. Wow. I'm glad this guy's on the ground. Take a look at it. 3 cuts there. 4, 5, 6, 7 over there. Yeah. It's a lot. But way safer than sending a climber up there after it. All right. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. You see, this is all that's left of the stump over here. We used the loader to push it over so it wasn't sticking 5 feet up in the air. Put all the wood over there. Neighbor's cool now. But I want to talk about something here that I learned today. You know, I haven't used that side cut very much before. I've just mentally just ran through it in my mind. It worked pretty much the way I thought. I didn't, but what happened on that very first cut where it drove the 500i right into the ground was I saw that the top cut, back cut, whatever you want to call it, starting to open up. And I said, you know what, I probably have enough that I could get on that loader now and yank it. And that's the first thought that popped into my head. And it definitely would have worked. But then I overrode that inner knowing that, hey, now's the time to stop cutting. Let's get on the loader. Because I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I showed for the video that I don't need to use the loader here. I can just use the saw. I don't need wedges. I don't need ropes. Aren't I cool? You know, my coworker who happened to be working with me today and has been doing some of the camera work for you, he despises the videos because he knows what happens. They interfere with your ability to focus on a job. And so in this case, I was playing a little bit to the camera and, you know, it cost me a bar. But that said, you know, me putting this tree on the ground and only having to replace a bar instead of paying a climber or a crane or whatever, putting all that at risk and whatever, you know, it just, I mean, to me, that's a pretty good trade-off. And that bar actually might be salvageable. We might be able to straighten that out. But, I mean, that's the way I like to do things. If I can do them from the ground, I'm going to do them from the ground. I mean, part of it is because I just can't climb like I used to. And the other part of it is like, why would you put yourself at risk when you don't have to? I see these guys, you know, did you see that guy making a cut a couple weeks back? He was cutting a leaning tree in the middle. I walked out there and he got dragged down by the top. So anyhow, thanks for watching. Daniel Murphy. As always, if you like it. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Thanks for watching. Guys, have a great day. Be safe out there.